Managing contractors is nothing like your corporate job. There's a whole different set of rules, and I learned that the hard way when I left the corporate environment. It's more like the prison rules, and here's the 18 top rules. And I broke them up into 4 different sections. We got bidding, etiquette, management, and strategy. Okay, let's start with the bidding. Number 1, a confused bid gets confused pricing. You need to look at it from their perspective. Okay, if you're talking to them about a project and you're not clear about what you want out of it, you're talking about, let's say it's a bathroom, and you're like, okay, I want to get the tub redone. Let's do like a new tile. I think that I want to do subway tiles. You know what? Maybe I'll do long. Have you ever watched HGTV? All right. If you were that contractor, you'd be thinking, oh my God, this customer is going to be a nightmare to deal with. They're confused about what they want. I'm not really sure what I'm getting myself into. And so if I'm not sure what I'm going to get myself into, what do I need to do? Give a higher price. That's right. And also, number 2, a dirty job gets a dirty bid. Your best friend on a project is going to be a dumpster out front. When things start to get cluttered, it starts to go back to number 1. It makes things seem confused. It makes it seem more complex than it really is. A lot of people lack vision. And so what you need to do is keep things clean for people to be able to see what they're dealing with. And not only that, put yourself in their shoes. If you walk into a house and it smells like dog crap, do you think it's going to make you inclined to think the job's going to be harder or easier? Yeah, you got it. And that's why sometimes before we have a contractor in to come give us a bid, we'll put in ozone machines to get the smell out, or air fresheners, or I'll hire a cleaner before I have a project done. I know it seems backwards, but dirty jobs get dirty bids. Number 3 bids is for burning bridges. All right, here's the thing. I know that conventional wisdom out there would say get 3 bids for every job. But if you really think about it, you're wasting the time of 2 of those people consciously every time that you do that. So the better method is to build good relationships with these guys to where you know you're getting good pricing and to understand the pricing yourself. All right, now the first thing that you should be thinking about is protecting yourself, of course. If you really don't know construction and what the prices should be, then you should go out there and get 3 bids because you have something to compare them to. In fact, you might want to go get 4 or 5, but what you're eventually wanting to work yourself towards is not having to do that because you understand what pricing should be. That is intuition that's built over time. Okay, but we put together our Flippo Rhythm budget builder calculator that has pricing already built in, so you would have something to compare it to. We'll link it up here so you can actually quickly get the pricing for your next project. All right, number 4 is get Costco bids. Now, I know a lot of you probably think about a project almost like a new build. That is like the standard thing to think that,
okay, I'm going to have somebody come in that does like the framing work, and then I'm going to have somebody come in that does the electrical, then plumbing, then HVAC, and then I guess after that I have drywallers come in and,
so on and so forth. And, it's nice, I guess, when things are clean like that and you can have specific contractors come in, but that's not really how it works on a rehab project. You'll have like 1 or 2 contractors that they do a little bit of everything. And those are really the guys that I'm out there looking for. Okay. And there's another piece to this is that the more jobs that you can give them, like if you can have a contractor that comes in and he does flooring, he does the paint, he does the drywall repairs, he also puts in the cabinets and takes out the trash. Well, great, because that guy's thinking, oh, this is a great job for me. This is going to line me up with work for weeks to come. I'm going to be able to put food on my family and crew's plate for the next few weeks. That is a nice safety net, and I will give you a discount to have that safety net. Thank you, sir. Instead of the opposite is, hey, I'm going to have you come in and do paint. And now he's thinking, okay, well, that's like a couple days job. What am I going to do after that? So I need to be focusing most of my time on looking for the next job. All right, moving into the second grouping is etiquette here. Okay, number 1 in etiquette is be a politician. Be the mayor, not the foreman. Okay, a lot of these guys are going to subcontract the work that you contract to them. Like they're going to have or their own crew that comes in and does that work. But you talk only to the guy that you hired to do the job, the guy that hopefully gave you his general liability insurance, gave you his workers' comp or workers' comp exemption, and has shown proof that he is a legal business or citizen, that he can legitimately do business with you. You verify those things with that guy. He might be bringing other people to the job site, but you don't go talk to them. You don't go, even if they come to you and say, hey, what are we supposed to do with that? Nah, I don't know. I talk to that guy. And then you go talk to that guy and he deals with them. That way the mistakes can't be put on you. Like, oh, well, hey, didn't you talk to one of my guys on the job site the other day? I think that you told him to do that. You don't want to get into that situation. You only talk with the person that you hire, and you make sure that the person that you're hiring is legit. Next in etiquette is pulling a job is absolutely slapping them in the face. And just know that you've fired a missile if you do that. And what I mean by pulling a job is, hey, guy, it's been like 3 weeks and you still haven't gotten that floor done. I thought you said you were going to do it. Oh, yeah, boss, I'm going to be there to do it here soon. And then he's still not there, and eventually you want to go fire him and bring somebody new on. Just know that you fired a missile. You're probably never going to hire that guy again. Sometimes missiles have to be launched. And then make sure you watch out for loose lips. So think about the complex jobs or confusing jobs, get confused pricing. This is similar to that, but this is like if you come talking around a job site, like they're in the middle of their project and you just start talking with him because he's your new buddy, this contractor. And you're like, hey, I was just thinking about, the tiles in that bathroom. And, I was thinking about subway tile, or you know what? I was thinking about painting this, or maybe I'm going to do the Formica. Now what they're thinking is that you're about to try to screw them over, that you're going to try to add jobs and get them to do it under the same price. That's what they're thinking, because that's been done to them so many times. And I know that you might not be thinking that. You might be thinking, oh, I'm just, talking with my buddy here, trying to figure out what pricing should be. And, of course, obviously, if I'm going to change the job, I would pay him more if it's more work. He's not thinking that. He's thinking you're trying to get a free one because people do it all the time. Next section is management. So don't write contracts, but be ironclad. Okay, this is definitely against conventional wisdom that, they're contractors. Shouldn't we have contracts with them? Here's the thing, guys. This is the rehab business. This is not like commercial work. And the contract, like, what are you going to do? If the guy doesn't show up and doesn't do, are you going to sue him? Are you going to take him to court? Like, are you going to get anything from him by doing that? So what is the contract actually doing for you, except for adding friction to a deal that could have been frictionless? Okay, contractors don't like white collar admin work. That's why they're out there doing manual labor, because they want to go do things, not, write on pieces of paper and click on computers. So why would I add this thing that makes it more difficult for them? Here's what I do with every contractor. We walk the job. I have a written scope that I've already put together for them. And then we go confirm that scope together. Hey, these are the things that we're going to do. Hey, Mr. Contractor, who knows more than me? Do you see anything wrong with my plan here? Oh, no, we like it. Okay. Then we make a video together walking the job. And I say, hey, can you give me a bid? They give me a bid. And I say, okay, I just want to make sure, that video of us walking through here, I'm sending it to you. And I'm sending you that written scope of work that we did together. I just want to make sure that price includes all these things that we talked about. Yeah, good, cool. Send me your pay schedule as well that is correlated to all of that. Great. No admin task. We use an app that he already has, which is text message. Great. And now we both have things to look back at. Contractors aren't nefarious. They just forget things. You might forget things. So they can use this and say, hey, on that walkthrough video, you didn't say that we were going to tile the bathroom, so you're going to owe me more money. Good for them. Great. It goes both ways. Next is be the bank. Two things here. These are two back to back. Be the bank, because a lot of people are out there screwing contractors. So when they get done with a job, get done with the scope of work on the pay schedule that you agreed upon, you want to go out of your way to give them the money fast. I just put 2 checks in my mailbox for contractors to come by the office and grab before I started filming this video, because I wanted to make sure they sent me a bill last night, and I wanted to get them that money today after I, of course, confirmed that they did the scope of work. All right, point is that I go out of my way still to make sure I pay these guys fast. However, next rule is the law of power. The power is the money, no matter what. I don't care how good your relationship is with these guys. The power is in the money. And it's not a nefarious thing. It's because everybody has bills to pay. Everybody has mouths to feed. And it's a really tough business. All businesses are tough, but especially contracting. And so they're always working on the next thing that's going to bring money to them. You need to be the next thing that's going to bring money to them. So you never pay ahead. You pay fast, but you never pay ahead. Okay, so somebody wants a down payment to do the work. Sorry, buddy, gonna have to hire somebody else. Well, but I need to pay for the materials. Great. Let's set up a Home Depot Pro account. I'll pay for the materials directly to Home Depot. Not giving you a dime until we get to the first pay period. However, if we want to cut the pay periods into small increments, like every Friday we do a pay period, that's fine. I'll go check the work. I'll make sure that you've done that work and I'll pay you quickly afterwards. Obviously, as trust starts to grow, I want to move to where we're not doing every Friday, that those pay periods get longer, but I will not pay a dime before you get the work done. Next is the butterfly effect of communication. That's a cute name. I did this late at night. So anyway, communication is really difficult, guys. I have been working on being a good communicator for years and years and years, and I still suck. And I think everybody really sucks at it. Just what I think I'm saying is not what you have heard. I'll give you an example. Just next door, I have a commercial rental next door that is now a coffee shop. The guy says, hey, as part of the lease agreement, I would like you to paint the awning. And I was like, yeah, no problem. So I sent guys over to paint the awning. And what I perceived from that is that there were chips in the paint. So I had him do a paint match and repaint the awning. And he's like, dude, when are you going to paint the awning? I'm like, oh, I already did. Paid to paint it already. And he's like, no, you didn't. Basically thought I was lying to him and trying to pull a fast one. But the reality is what I heard when he said paint the awning was paint match the old paint. What he actually meant was make it a different color. Didn't catch that. Communication is hard, so you need to be really careful. We alluded to this earlier, 3 ways to communicate: written, verbal, media. That means a video. Do that with everything that you possibly can. Next is control the material, but don't be the delivery boy. Okay, like I said, Home Depot Pro account. You can pay directly to Home Depot for the material they want to buy. They go up to the desk. They get the stuff. It's actually an extra level of management for you as well. They give you these things called text to confirms. So Home Depot will send you like, whatever, Jeff is there to buy X, Y, and Z, and it sends you the invoice before you pay for it, and you can see what they're buying. Like Powerade, not going to pay for it, dude. A little payday bar, not happening. Okay, but 2x4s, got it. That's right. Or why do you have fencing on there? We're not doing any fencing. Oh, I was going to use that for the blah, blah, blah. No, you're not. You're going to use fence stuff for fence stuff, guy. You get the point. That stuff happens. Actual story. Okay, so control the material, but don't be the delivery boy. That doesn't mean that you go to Home Depot, get the stuff, and turn it into the job site. That is a slippery slope, folks, that you don't want to get into. Don't micromanage, instead micro spy. Okay, I don't try to breathe down these guys' necks and figure out their exact schedule. They're subcontractors. They're not your employees. Okay, they have not a contract, but a text message that says they're going to complete these things in somewhat of a time frame that you agreed upon in advance. Just know in advance that those timelines will probably get busted, but somewhere inside of that reasonable timeline. And I don't really care how they get there, as long as they don't mess things up in between that cost me even more money. So I'm not going to tell them how to do their job. Okay, but I do want to make sure that they're not messing things up too much. So I do what I call micro spying. And that's where, hey, I got a partner on this deal and I am just here to send him a video. But in reality, what I'm doing is checking out the work that they're doing. Okay, always inspect before you give a payment. I should have told you that earlier. Always inspect before you give a payment. Always inspect before you give a payment. In a situation where you can't be there for whatever reason, you might hire a third party to go out there and get you videos and such. I have seen lots of situations where, it looks like it's done in a picture, but you get there and it's not even close. Pictures can be deceiving. Okay, this is final, the strategy. Okay, number 1, be lazy. All right, I want to mitigate the decision points and the times that I need to be to a job site, right? Solo house flipper model is about freedom, not giving yourself a job. The more jobs I can contract to somebody in one single thing, and the longer the pay periods are, the longer between the times I have to go to the job site. Not trying to give myself a job here, guys. Figure out how to be lazy. Got to keep them on their toes. Keep them guessing. Don't let them get too comfortable. So sometimes I deny a bid that doesn't have a problem at all just to make sure they know that I'm looking at the pricing. Next is 7 iPhotos are equal to 1 countertop. This is an actual thing that happened that a contractor was doing work and I was asking him to send me pictures. All right. Not thinking anything of it. And this was like huge to that guy. To you, not a big deal. You know how to send iPhotos really easy via the iCloud or whatever the heck. Really easy to send these photos, right? But for the contractor who's not tech savvy whatsoever, this particular contractor, that was like a huge deal to him. Like I was asking him to do a bunch of extra work. So that's why I say 7 iPhotos would be equal to 1 countertop. For this guy, if I asked him to install a new countertop that I put on there, that would be preferable to him than sending me 7 iPhotos. But you got to wear these guys' shoes. You got to see what they're facing, understand these things about them so you can keep building a better relationship with them. Finally, show, don't tell. When I was starting out, didn't have a lot of jobs going on, but I wanted these guys to see me as somebody who had a good runway for them, had a lot of jobs for them to go to ultimately. So, like we talked about earlier, the safer they feel, the longer the runway where they can feed their crew, feed their family, they feel really good about that. We'll give you better pricing, give you preferred treatment. And so when I didn't have a lot of jobs going on, I would literally like meet these guys at other people's job sites. Like I would see a job site going on in the neighborhood and I would say, hey, meet me here. And that's where I would like write them their checks or whatever, just so it gave me the perception of being bigger. I'm not trying to tell you to do that, but what I'm trying to tell you is that your confidence, your vision, that matters. You don't want them to smell the rookie on you. You want them to see you as somebody who can continually give them good employment. Finally, number 1 rule, guys, this goes across everything, not just managing contractors, is don't be fragile. This business is hard. It's going to chew you up. You got to be prepared to take it. You have to problem solve. You got to stay in the pocket when it gets tough. And you have to really be willing and want to go take on something tough. And that's what any business is, not even especially real estate. But I always think about if I'm going to have to go through all that stuff and I want to go through all that stuff, I better do it in a place that matters. And real estate has been making people wealthy for thousands of years. It's worked for me. I guarantee it will work for you as long as you stay in the pocket, get in the game, take the first steps. That's what this channel is all about. Hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.